Hello y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Marquita here with Late Nights Early Mornings, and again I'm giving you guys a how it's growing update. I know it's been a while since I showed you some of my actual house plants. I've just been focusing on the Aerogarden because it has been doing a lot, but I did want to show you some of the house plants and how they're doing, especially now that we have officially into summer and warm weather, and some of the plants are very fond of warm weather, so this is really their time to shine, and that they are doing. So I'm going to start with my snow white waffle plant, and it is just thriving. I think the combination of the weather plus putting it in that self-watering container, or planter rather, that I mentioned before, it has been doing absolutely wonderful. So I'll just give you guys a kind of panoramic view. It like doubled in size, almost really tripled in size, and it's just been living its best life here in the window. So this is definitely one plant that benefited so much from the self-watering planter in the warm weather. Next we have a golden pothos, one of many. As you can see, it's going down. Next to that we have an aloe. Oh, I just realized of the little curvature here, and I did see that new piece that's coming along in the center. I may need to repot. It just keeps growing so tall. I hope it's stable. Part of why I moved it into the bigger pot, because it wasn't a smaller one. I am noticing that for some of my plants, I may need to get a deeper pot. Not so much wider, but deeper, because they are either outgrowing the pot or they just seem like they would be a better fit in something a little deeper. This is a croton plant that I got from Whole Foods. It's doing fine. As you can see, I did actually replant it, and I just put it into the terracotta pot that it came in. It was in like one of those little black plastic thingy starter cups, and so I just put it completely in with soil and everything, and it's been doing fine. One thing about terracotta pots, if you weren't aware, is that they absorb water a little quicker. So it's okay, because the croton is a plant that doesn't like to be really wet in terms of the soil. So with that plant, with that type of pot, I think it'll be fine being in that terracotta pot, because it will absorb the water quickly or quicker. And I also used a mixed soil so that it will help absorb it for houseplants and for like succulents and things that don't like to be wet for a very long period of time. Here we have the combo plant. It's still doing whatever it is that it does. I really don't know what it does, but it looks like it's blooming a little bit. You see that little whatever that is. I do remember those from last year, so it's, I guess, doing what it's supposed to do. It's also in a self-watering pot. My pride and joy, hope the other plants don't get jealous, but my Basil philo, it's actually not a pothos, as a lot of people tend to put it in that same family, but it's more like a cousin to the pothos. It's not a sibling. So I still can't believe that this plant, and I'll go ahead and show you, all it is that plant just doing what it do in the window. Is very happy. But this one super big leaf here is what produced all of what you see. This plant came from one leaf, and I am loving its life. So you can see all the angles there. It is I did wrap it and support it on the moss pole. I got the poles from Amazon, but you can see all of that kind of light red. That's like either new growth or new leaves coming along. So you can see it's plenty of that, even on these pieces here. I do want to eventually probably snip it a little bit and propagate, and maybe see if I can get another one going. But right now it's just enjoying life, and I'm enjoying watching it enjoy life. Next to that is my second aloe plant, which is doing fine. I'm debating whether or not I want to put it in a self-watering container as well. As you can see, it grew a whole nother section over here after I moved it into this pot. So hey, it is what it is. I'll take it. That's another golden pothos over there in the corner. Here we have yet another golden pothos. Can you tell what type of plant that I like? But the golden pothos here is flourishing. Like, it's since I moved it to that bookshelf, it gets fluffy and full like that, and the only time it's really droopy is when it needs water. So it seems to be going up. Sometimes pothos can go down, as you guys saw with this one, and it's doing great. The leaves down here are actually really pretty. Love, love, love them. They're gorgeous. But yeah, this one's going more up and fluffy, but it's fine. I love, love, love the personalities of these plants, and they're so pretty. This seems to be a good spot for it. It really seems to do well there. So I had it in a different spot and it wasn't thriving quite like this, but now since it's been on this bookshelf, it's like perfect mix of light, I guess. It's doing its thing. And then here we have this peperonia. It's the front of it kind of faces the window, so you can see that. It has bloomed a lot since the weather turned warm. I wasn't sure what this plant was doing. Like I said, it looks fake, but it's not. It just looks like a shiny plastic fake plant, but is a real live plant that I water and it grows. Might need to dust it, but these leaves up here at the top, these are all like new. So the kind of shiny, I don't know if you can tell from the light here, but the shinier, like more lime green looking leaves, those are all new. So pretty much everything up here is new. And it's been growing. I was shocked because I honestly didn't know what was going on with the plant in terms of whether or not it was happy, sad, whatever, because it was just kind of there. But like everything up here is new and growing. So I just water it when it gets dry and it's doing its thing. So I guess it's happy. The bookcase must be magical because all the plants over here seem to like it. And you can see the Brazil is doing its thing and seems to enjoy being on the bookcase as well. All right, so that's pretty much it for my houseplant update. I'm going to take you over to my Aerogardens and then we'll wrap it up. But I do actually want to show you one more. I know I said I was going to propagate this plant and I still plan to do that. The reason being is because, as you can see from the shadows, it's determined to grow. It is going to grow no matter what. So it's actually grown up and through the blinds and going over the blinds. So it is actually blooming. They do get little pink blooms. It did that last year too. So kind of pinkish purple blooms. So it is doing that, but I do need to propagate it because it's out of control, but I love it. I really do. But this is the pink polka dot plant, if you're wondering what is that. And it's doing a lot. But I like it. I like this being extra and doing a lot. So that's why I've been just kind of scared to propagate, because I don't want to mess it up because I love what it's doing. But I really don't have a choice because it's kind of growing out the blinds at this point. But this is a climbing plant. So like if you had a fence or a trellis or something that you wanted it, as you can see, it's not attached to anything over here. This is just the window. There's nothing there to hold it up. It's standing on its own. I don't know how to explain it. The only support is on the moss poles, and that's not where the bulk of the plant is. So the plant is doing what it needs to do to survive, but this is a climbing plant. So it is known to climb and stretch and do all that. So it's sticking to its name, and next to it is the marginata bicolor marginata plants, and they're doing fine as well. I may get a deeper pot for this because it is growing and getting taller, and like I said, these can actually be like full-size plants that you would put in your like yard at some point. And next to that are my succulents. I know I don't show those very often because they're not super exciting, but the one in the middle is like my all-time fave. It's so pretty, and it's been blooming, and it's the only one that never scared me like it was gonna die. So but it's doing really, really well, and so are the other two. And I mean, succulents don't really do too much. You water them like every 2 weeks. I have a eternal alarm set on my phone to remind myself to water them. One of the biggest things with succulents is people tend to over or underwater them because you water them more like you would a regular plant, and they don't need all that. So far I have kept them alive, and I had them since December of last year, so December 2021. So now I'm going to take you over to my Aerogarden or gardens, and that's it. All right, y'all, before I give you that view of my Aerogarden, I want to focus on this house plant. It's off to the corner and I haven't shown it in a while, but this is my Chinese evergreen. This is the one, the red, I forgot the technical name. I think it's like, I can never remember. It starts with an A, but either way, it is one of my favorites. It was like my first big house plant and it has been with me the longest. And as you can see, it is still thriving. I got this one from Lowe's Home Improvement, and it has been with me since my other apartment. It's traveled and it has been thriving ever since. As you can see, the older leaves are the larger leaves. The smaller, shinier leaves are the new ones, like this one. You can see it's shining. That's a newbie. And some of the smaller leaves, those are relatively new. So you guys can see the shine. So it is growing. I don't know why it's got a little bit of a gangster lean to it, but it is growing. And we love to see it. So I just want to show off my Chinese evergreen little baby. This is the red variety here. They do come in other varieties. You can get some that are, you know, completely green, hence the name Chinese evergreen. But you know me, I like colors, so that's why I got this one. This is the Aerogarden Bounty Basic, where I did have the romaine lettuce. I have finished all of that. The last bit of it I picked the other night and put it in the fridge. So I'm probably gonna make a salad at some point. And then I started a new garden last night, which is the bell peppers. I'm not sure what kind of bell peppers in terms of like the colors or whatnot it should be, but it was only 3 in a pack. For some reason I felt like it would be more than that. But anyway, given how they grow, I'm really interested to see how this comes out. It said on the pack that any of the Bounty machines were compatible, because I know bell peppers can get a little tall. So we'll see how that works out. But anyway, I have planted them. There's a little growth down in there. You'll see a little green. And they were actually like that when I took them out the box. So I don't know if they started growing in the box or what. But it's a little sprout down there. So all of them have a little sprout. And the interesting thing about this is that this particular set came with these covers. And they're from Aerogarden, and I had 2 packs. But these little covers, they say Aerogarden, and they plug the holes so that, you know, when you have the empty holes, so that you don't get like algae or anything built up, you know, with the air mixing with the water down in there. So that's the first time I ever saw those, but those are pretty cool. So I feel a little fancy now that I have those plugs. I didn't know that they existed. But anyway, that's my bell pepper garden. We'll see how that turns out. Again, I just planted it last night, so I'm not expecting anything for a while. And this might be your final look at the current basil, as it will continue to grow. But I'm gonna go to the other side and give you guys a better angle. But most of it's pretty much ready to start being harvested, and so I'm gonna do that. Probably today is Thursday, probably this weekend, because it's ready to go. So I'm gonna give you guys a little better angle with that. All right, so here's a better angle of my basil. You can see all of it grew, and that's as high as my light. This is the Aerogarden Harvest Slim Elite, and so this is the it's been growing for 31 days, as you can see there on the screen. I've only had to add, I think, food and water 1 time since I started it. So definitely a very easy to grow situation here. This was the basil variety, and there's my purple basil. It's pretty obvious. The one that's next to it that was slow, it is growing, but I think because the other ones have gotten taller around it, it's kind of shielding it from the light. So it's not growing as quickly. It seems to be growing fine, but it's just not growing as quickly because it's not getting the light. But since I'm going to start pruning the basil that's there, that will hopefully give it some light. The one that's covering it up, that is the Thai basil. And I've grown that before, and I know it can grow quite a bit. And the Genovese is the one that you see that's the kind of fluffy, thick mama basil. That one is doing this thing. I've actually grown that independently of Aerogarden, like just in a regular planter. And it does a lot as well. So I'm definitely going to get that. You guys can see like it's at the top of the thing. And then next to that is the lemon basil too on the end. So I'm going to start harvesting this probably in the next day or two, and then preserving it. And I may do a video showing you guys what I do to preserve this for future use, because I'm going to be getting a lot of basil if this continues to grow. All right, so that is all for my how it's growing update for now. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back with probably more plant updates, and we'll see what the bell peppers are doing as things continue to progress. But again, thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.